You tripping, dog? That's gonna be my new intro from now on. Anyways, welcome back, guys. This is King Weebs, and it's not gonna be my new intro. It's cringy, but you wildin', man. Anyways, this is what if Naruto was raised in Mount Miyoboku finale. Last time we left off with Naruto leaving the village, and I'm going to make this a quick part. I'm sorry, but I don't see much changes being made to this story because let's be honest, it's just Naruto training in Mount Miyoboku earlier, and for a lot of his life, or for a few years of his life, at least four, he was in the Leaf Village. And then I'll make this quite a short part, maybe 20 minutes max, but I am very sorry. I know, I know it's disappointing, but don't worry. Usually, when there's a part 3 to a series, I tend to do a double upload with a new series straight after that. Anyways, we'll get straight into it. I know I spoke for a full minute, but kind of want you guys to watch this or listen to me. Well, no, that sounds bad, but I mean, it's for your own information, if you know what I mean. Anyway, you tripping, dog. Anyway, we begin the story with Naruto actually being trained by Jiraiya at this point of the story, and pretty much Naruto and Jiraiya have been training for a while now, and of course, it's been 2 years, I'm going to say, and during these 2 years, Naruto has improved in his ice release even more, and also he's unlocked his lava release, steam release, and not steam release, board release, and his wood release. Yes, Naruto is actually quite refined with the wood release, not as much as ice, but his wood release and his lava release would be on the same level. Naruto would find it much harder to learn ball release because it's just really straining on his body. He can barely keep himself in his ball release state for a minute or so, and then now we would see Naruto pretty much for the last 6 months of his train with mostly do missions for Jiraiya's his his Jiraiya's I'm lost for words. I'm so sorry, guys. But he'd be mostly doing missions for Jiraiya's spy network, and in the process, actually being close to finding Sasuke, as they actually found traces of Orochimaru. And anyways, now Naruto would then finish off his training, whereas meanwhile, during these 2.5 years, Sasuke has been doing his own training, and during this time, his training has actually been going well, as he got, uh, you know, well, of course, um, Orochimaru has been testing drugs on him and everything, and he's actually given him this little amount of Hashirama cells that he had, which was a massive mistake in his part, as this was only in his eyes to enhance Sasuke's body for himself. However, this was all, well, he needed to, begin his end, because Sasuke would eventually become strong, so strong that it's way too strong for him. And Naruto and Sasuke would, well, Sasuke, since he trained mostly in his wood release, so he'd be much stronger than Naruto in his when they're just using wood release. If they were compared with wood release and wood release abilities, Naruto would be much or far less refined with it. However, Naruto, if you're comparing Naruto to Sasuke right now, Sasuke is no match for Naruto, because Naruto's ice release is some sort of magic at this point. Naruto can literally use it on a whim. He can look at someone and freeze them. Like, it's kind of overpowered. I'll be honest. Like, Naruto's very OP. I did say at the beginning that it's not going to change the story much. But now that I think about it, I was whining, man. I'm tripping, dog. Anyways, now Naruto would return to the Leaf Village to be greeted by Hinata. Hinata actually was exchanging letters with Naruto, love letters, and Naruto was expecting her to be there, as she did promise him that she's going to be there, and they do kind of have a relationship going on right now. And anyways, now of course Naruto and well, well, Naruto and Hinata pretty much get to catch up a little bit before they meet up with Sakura. Sakura was actually doing some work for Tsunade, and then now, of course, we then move to see what happens with Sakura. Sakura asks Naruto how his training has gone, and Naruto would go on to tell her that it's been going very well, and in fact, he's learned a lot from well, this little, you know, 2.5 year gap, and I want to say little, as it's quite a long time. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto and Sakura would do the belt test again, and Kakashi would be much stronger here because Kakashi actually decided to train 2.5 years gap that they had because of him being on a much weaker level than his students, and of course this pushed him to train harder, and he knows about his Monkey Sharingan and everything. Now, the belt test would be passed by Naruto and Sakura easily, as they are both Jonin level at this point. Naruto is on Kage level, if I'm being serious here. Naruto has much more experience, he has many more Rasengan types, he has many fighting styles, many stances, and of course, uh, he's just very strong, if I'm being honest. But, anyways, now, of course, we go on to see Naruto and Team 7 finding out about Gaara's capture. Naruto hasn't really been keeping much too in contact with well Gaara. However, he does know that Gaara became the Kazekage, and he's happy for him. They did exchange a few letters here and there, but anyways, now we then see Naruto more going with Team 7 to Gaara because he wants to save him, and then of course Sakura has to heal Kankuro, and I'll say that Gaara still is dead here, as it would take the same amount of time. Naruto hasn't been training in medical ninjutsu, although he did make some research on it. And his mother, or his technically godmother, because the ship is sailing for Jiraiya. Um, you know, he does have some sort of ability in it, but this would be his catalyst to actually realize that he needs to learn it too. As clearly, if he knew it, the time that it would have taken Sakura to heal him, it would be at least, well, the speed that it would taken her to create the antidote, it would be at least times two, isn't it? I shouldn't use slang much. I'm whining, dog. Anyways, now we go on to see Naruto and Team 7 and Team Guy. Team Guy would go up against their clones because, like, why not? And Naruto and Team 7 would find the duel or the with Granny Chio, and of course they would find the Akatsuki members, or Sasori and Deidara. Naruto would break in to see Deidara sitting on Gaara's body, and Deidara, Sasori tells Deidara to create a decoy to actually separate the team, so two of them go after him as he takes the Gaara's body and flies away. Naruto is not going to allow it, and Kakashi and Naruto go off as Sakura says that she can handle the Sasori with Chio and Enryu. Now, the fight against Sasori and Chio and Sakura would go exactly the same as per normal, whereas Naruto pretty much Naruto and Kakashi would pretty much have quite the easy time with well you know with Deidara, as in the end Kakashi would still use his Mangekyo Sharingan here, and he would be able to pretty much whoop away one of Deidara's arms, and Deidara has to escape fast, as clearly he's at a disadvantage. Naruto was letting out a little, just a tiny little bit of the Nanto's chakra, and this was already scaring Deidara to an extent where he actually just wants to run away at this point. And anywho, now, of course, Deidara runs away, and then pretty much Sasori would tell Sakura about the meetings or the little spy that he has um, in our Orochimaru's ranks, and anywho. Team 7 would, Kakashi wouldn't be as tired as he's actually quite used to using his Mangekyo. They would pretty much head there, and it would be Naruto actually wilding, but I'm joking. Naruto would go a bit wild and use a lot of his powers and pretty much be on a level that Orochimaru wasn't expecting him to be on, and he was actually well, he didn't. Naruto did go a bit wild, but Orochimaru still believed that Naruto was weaker than Sasuke, and so he kind of led them towards him as Sai followed him. And, faked that he kind of joined their side as he was ordered by Danzo to actually go and you know, kill Orochimaru, somehow go to Orochimaru and talk to him. Anyways, now they would find Sai, and Sai would tell them that he was just forced to do it as he's actually a part of the route, and Team Seven will find out about the route here, and then now, of course, now we go on to see Sasuke actually talking to Naruto, looking down at Naruto. Naruto tells Sasuke to return to the Leaf Village. It's not worth being with this guy. He's just a snake. He just wants your body. He wants your Sharingan. That's the only reason he's training you this whole time. Sasuke says, as long as I get to kill Itachi, that's fine by me. But you won't get in my way this time, Naruto. Of course, Naruto says, how did I ever get in your way? You always were trained by Kakashi. Did I ever ask Kakashi to train me? No, I didn't. Because I wanted you to train with him. And Sasuke says, you were looking down on me. Admit it, Naruto. Naruto then looked down and then looked back at Sasuke with his, no, with his Naruto's eyes and says, Sasuke, you need to listen to me. Don't be stupid. I never looked down upon you. I was always your friend. I always treated you as my equal. I never wanted you to turn out like this, but I guess you did. But you still have a chance, Sasuke. You should just return to the Leaf Village. If you return now, you won't be hated. You won't be sent to jail. And Sasuke then says, Naruto, you're so naive. And as he says that, he throws a kunai with lightning release on it, as Naruto literally cuts through it with a wind blade. Literally, he creates a wind katana and slices right through it, and Sasuke was confused on what Naruto just did, and Naruto did this as a reflex action, a reflex arc, and this is called biology. It's an instantaneous reaction, and you guys can learn from my videos too. But anyways, now of course, Sasuke then escapes with Orochimaru as he realizes that Naruto might be a bit of a Naruto alone, maybe he would be able to beat him, but there was Kakashi who's now able to use the Mangekyo. He does know about that. Also, there was Sakura and Sai, and he doesn't know much about Sakura and Sai now because Sakura and Sai have been. Sai, he doesn't know anything about Sai, but Sakura, she's been training. He knows that much. She seems more confident. She seems stronger, and he doesn't want to really mess with them right now. Once he's stronger, once he knows for sure that he's stronger than them, he will go. Well, he will go fight them if he has to. But of course, he's just going for after Itachi for now. Now, Naruto would return, and he doesn't have much training to do. Like, there was such Shuriken training that he went through to actually match Sasuke's strength, as he was actually inferior to him at the time. And so he would actually be alerted to Team 10 being in danger, and this is where the story starts, diversing a little bit from the original, parting ways from the original, and then now Team 7 with Sai would actually start changing thanks to Naruto's, Naruto actually being such a good friend, and now, of course, Sai would join them, and Kakashi Yamato would actually go with them too, and thanks to Naruto actually being quite fast, they would be ahead of them, and they would allow Naruto to do so because Naruto is a Sage Mode Master. Sorry about that notification. I'm very sorry. I should be more professional and put on silent or do not disturb mode. And then now, of course, Naruto would arrive right before right before Asuma was actually cut, and Naruto would actually save him last second and pretty much kick Hidan away. Hidan would be confused on who this guy is, and then the rest of Team 7 would arrive, and Yamato as well. Yamato would use his Hidan was about to attack Naruto with his scythe. Yamato would use his wood release to actually block Yamato, and Naruto would then say, "That's enough. This fight is mine." And of course, he takes on both Akatsuki members, truly showing his strength. And remember, here the Akatsuki members should have the advantage theoretically on paper, 2 against 1, 2 beats 1, and teamwork in Naruto. Teamwork is something very underestimated by many people. I mean, teamwork can really make the difference. And then here now, Naruto would just be so OP that the two couldn't really handle him, especially because of the ice release. Naruto was able to freeze Hidan and pretty much break him into pieces after breaking the ice midway the fight. And then Kakazu would try to use his final form by combining all the 5 hearts and stitching himself with the other 5 bodies, but that wouldn't work out either because of Naruto, or either, sorry, not Naruto. Sorry, yes, because Naruto would actually use a freezing Rasen Shuriken, which pretty much destroy Hidan's whole body, and pretty much, well, not Hidan, Kakazu, and Kakazu really would have no chance. Anywho, now Naruto would display his power and basically destroy Kakuzu. His body would be pretty much frozen after getting caught many times, and this Rasengan was very strong, if you haven't realized yet. And anywho, now we would see Naruto pretty much just walk away from the 2 bodies, and of course, since Hidan was still alive, Naruto would pretty much well, actually, it was actually Team 10 who realized, or Shikamaru mostly, who realized how to defeat Hidan, and pretty much they would take Kaku's body back to study it in the leaf, and then they would put in a scroll and then go off. Now, of course, we would go on to see Team, oh well, of course, Jiraiya, who actually came back to the Leaf Village to tell Tsunade about Sasuke killing Orochimaru, and Naruto hearing about this and is like, has he gotten that strong? Because Naruto still doesn't believe that he's strong enough to defeat, well, Jiraiya, who is meant to be like a match to Orochimaru. But let's be honest, Orochimaru really, like, Orochimaru at that point of the story, he was way weaker than the Jiraiya, so you could make an argument that maybe Jiraiya could actually put up a fight against Sasuke, but we move, and then you now we're going to see Sasuke versus Itachi, and the same things would happen there. And now, of course, we would pretty much see Naruto, well, not Naruto, but Sasuke joining the Akatsuki, as he wanted revenge for his older brother. And, well, he wanted revenge on the Leaf Village, and now they would go after Killer Bee, and during this time, of course, Jiraiya would go to the Rain Village, and he would find out more information about the, paths of pain, because that's why he actually went there in the first place. And then now, of course, he would not the paths of pain, but the Akatsuki leader, and of course he meets Pain and Conan, and now, of course, it's pretty good fight. Of course, Jiraiya is on top of the fight most of the times, and he would have a much easier time here because he has perfect sage mode, but he would still escape because he gathered enough until he didn't figure out that he was close to figuring out where the real body was, or not the real body, but finding out the real, the actual secret behind the pains, and how Nagato is actually behind all of it. However, he wasn't able to find out yet, as he escaped a bit too early than when he escaped in the original. And anyways, now we would go on to pretty much see Naruto getting ready to go and fight in Pain, but Pain came to him, and here the Leaf Village was getting attacked, and Naruto pretty much saved everyone by stopping Pain from attacking them, and telling him that they should take it outside the village. He doesn't want this village to get in the crossfire, and Pain says no. And as he says that, he flies up as Naruto is in awe of what's going on, and pretty much the catastrophic Almighty push was still done on the Leaf Village, and the Leaf Village was destroyed as Naruto couldn't protect them from that. And this was his trigger point, is that you hurt the people of this village, you hurt my sensei, you hurt everyone that I cared for. Now you die. As he says that, pretty much the Nantos finally makes his move. The Nantos all this time he kind of didn't want to get out, and so he only saw this way out. As Naruto still was weakening a bit due to the hatred that he held for Orochimaru for taking away Sasuke. Now Naruto would, well, straight away from the get go into his six-tail mode, and pretty much even, well, Jiraiya couldn't do anything. Jiraiya could only watch as Naruto was plowing through pain. And anyways, now, of course, Naruto would then actually go into his Naruto's form and meet, pretty much, because Jiraiya couldn't stop Naruto at this point, and he was just hoping that a miracle would happen, because otherwise he'll lose Naruto, and after losing Minato, you can't handle another loss like Minato, Kushina, and now Naruto. Like, come on. And of course, Naruto meets Minato, and pretty much the same events occur as Naruto pretty much decimates Pain in the end, and all the paths of Pain get destroyed by Naruto in the process of his fight against the Tendo Pain, as Naruto wants him dead the most. Now, anyways, of course, Naruto and Jiraiya would go to Nagato, and Nagato would revive everyone in the Leaf Village because he thought that Naruto was actually the savior of this world. Now, Conan would go on her own and pretty much die in the end by the hands of Obito as he gets the Rinnegan, and the Five Kage Summit would still happen as Sasuke would have actually captured the Killer Bee here because of his wood release. And anywho, now Sasuke would and Tsunade would still be in that coma thing because of all the that's happened, and she tried to save everyone but she couldn't. Then anywho, now, and she would wake up after Danzo's death and Naruto pretty much meeting with Sasuke one more time. And this time Naruto having a whole different mentality, realizes that the cycle of hatred is something that he needs to stop right now or it's over. Naruto would then go on to pretty much beat Sasuke until Obito arrives and saves him, pretty much transplants his eyes. And during this time, Naruto would go to the same mountain as, remember, the fourth Great Ninja War would begin as, of course, Kabuto wants Sasuke for the reanimation jutsu for Obito to actually continue this war properly. And anywho, now Naruto would go on to master the Kyuubi Chakra Cloak and actually seal away the Kyuubi as he still hated him. And Naruto says, I remember what I told you all those years ago, that I will take in all the hatred that you have. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten that promise. That's what I'll make it up to you, as he actually caresses his fur, and then Naruto's pretty much screams at him, not screams, but roars at him, sorry, not scream. And then now Naruto would go on to the war and pretty much save everyone from utter destruction because they weren't able to keep up as much. Well, they wouldn't have been able to keep up for much longer thanks to Naruto. Naruto then actually, well, here he did still get the crow from Itachi. I did kind of forgot to mention that. And then Itachi would go on to stop the reanimation jutsu as Naruto would be fighting the reanimated Jinchuriki, including Killer Bee here. Naruto would then actually make the alliance with the Narutos as the Narutos realize that Naruto has been fighting for so long and he's not against the Naruto's beasts, but he's actually on their side and he wants them freed. So he actually becomes partners with Naruto, fist bumping him, and pretty much the KCM2 would finally be revealed, and pretty much Naruto would take on everyone. And of course, he would actually use a wood release as well. Here, wood release, Naruto has actually pretty much mastered at this point, and his Sage mode would actually be blue, with the pigment would be blue, no longer orange, but his eyes would still be orange, and pretty much this would be wood towards Sage mode, which is a whole different new type of Sage mode, and it's a combination of two different Sage modes. And Naruto pretty much would go into the war as a very, 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 very overpowered character, and of course, Madara would smack the Five Kage, and including Jiraiya here, and Naruto would finally start using the flying Raijin to actually fight off Obito with Guy and Kakashi, and they would find out that that's Obito, and pretty much Naruto. Obito would finally unite with the Madara to reanimate the Ten Tails, and now the whole entire Shinobi Alliance is there to try to fight off the Ten Tails. They tried to do that one combination, jutsu, but it didn't work. And Sasuke joins the fight with the four other Kage, and pretty much three other Kage, as the third Hokage was still alive, and not Kage but Hokages. And then now Naruto and Minato would make a very overpowered tag team because of their flying Rajin together, father and son flying Rajin Rasengan. Oh, just imagine that in the anime. I would love to see that, but of course we'll never see that. And then now we would go on to see Naruto and Sasuke fight together. And here Naruto and Sasuke were able to stop Jubito, Tento's Obito, Tento's Jinchuriki, Obito, the Tentos of the Jinchuriki of the Tentos, Tento's Jinchuriki, Obito, whatever. I'd say Jubito. And pretty much Naruto used the Flying Raijin with this majestic attire, Susanoo, plus his the majestic attire on his Kurama avatar, and pretty much caught Obito off guard and pulled out all the tail beasts without anyone others help except for Sasuke's, of course. But then we see Obito try to reanimate everyone who died in the war, and the Madara would have easily been sealed away then. But of course, Zetsu takes over, and Madara becomes the Tento's Jinchuriki, becoming well, Tento's Jinchuriki Madara. Oh, Tento's Madara, and then you know. Madara became the Tento's Jinchuriki and pretty much killed Sasuke, and Naruto and Sasuke would meet with the not the Naruto's but the Sage's class. Naruto would get the same exact power up, saving Kakashi's eye, and then Obito would actually give Kakashi his eye back, and pretty much the same thing that they did in every way. If now Kakashi has the dual DMS, and so does Obito, and Naruto can actually change Kakashi's DNA, as he actually studied a lot about medical ninjutsu over the little free time that he had. And when he has free time, he gets down to it, and he hits the books, something that I can't do properly. And then now I feel bad. Now we're going to see pretty much Naruto and Sasuke beat down Madara, as both of them had this wood release, and Naruto with his ice release, as of course then Haku would make a little appearance with Zob's catching Madara off guard. Yes, because Madara was occupied with the other two, Sasuke and Naruto, SOP 6. Sage of Six Paths of Naruto, and Rinne Sharingan Sasuke. The two would use a tag team, a tag team attack, and then even Obito and the Kakashi did so, and pretty much then Naruto and Sasuke were about to kill him, and what not kill him, but still they attacked him, and he went flying. He did absorb the God Tree already. He had he didn't have. He already had the double Rinnegan, but still he was being overpowered by the two because of their training prior, and Naruto using wood toad sage mode on top of KCM2 with the 6-5 sage mode. So like it's very very overpowered if you think about it. And of course his pigment wouldn't be there, but still now what would actually change is that his eyes would be like blue, to show that he still was using his wood release sage mode, but then again he would still have the toad eye with the slit in the middle, which showed the Nanto's eyes. But anyways, now Kage would still be revived, and here Sasuke and Naruto were able to pretty much tag team her into a corner, and Naruto would get the final blow on her, cutting her head off. And I won't be covering that fight because it's literally the same thing as in the original, just that here Naruto and Sasuke had a much easier time, and Sasuke would not be teleported away, as he didn't get caught off guard, and of course Kaguya had no chance against the two because they were that overpowered. Naruto gets the Karma Seal luckily, and pretty much then, because Sasuke could have taken the last hit as well, and then they returned to the real world, and Sasuke and Naruto would still have the final fight, and here Naruto would dominate for most of it, but in the end Sasuke does use all the Naruto's chakra, Naruto Beast chakra, which would actually put him on the same level as Naruto, as Naruto was more fatigued than Sasuke, as he joined the fight earlier, and he never really got arrested. He wasn't getting healed by Sakura because he was resting his stamina. His stamina was just that strong, and the only power boost that he really got, or the stamina boost that he got, was from the Sage of Six Paths, and now he's on the same level as Sasuke. But if we said that Naruto and Sasuke joined the fight at the same time, which would mean that most of the Shinobi Alliance would be dead, which wasn't the case thanks to Naruto and Sakura of her healing. But still, of course, I'm just saying, Obito and Kakashi did use the Susanoo, and then now Sakura did get one punch on Kaguya, but we don't really mention that, and we don't need to mention that. But now, Naruto and Sasuke. Naruto would definitely be in Sasuke, but here in the end, he still lost his arm because of it. And Sasuke realized that Naruto had more power than him, and he was more fatigued, and that's the only reason he lost. And he accepts it, and they reminisce about the past and how they were, kind of jealous of each other. Although Naruto was only there since the age of 8, and then not since since he was born. But anywho, of course, Sakura heals them, and together they use the right hand sign and release the Infinite Securement. That's pretty much it. The rest of Naruto happens as per normal, as it is a Hinata ship, and Naruto would eventually become Hokage, and of course, well, he would say his final goodbye to Minato beforehand. But anywho, now, of course, Jiraiya and Tsunade they start dating or pretty much get married eventually, and maybe have a child later. But anyway, of course, we now leave off at that. I don't know if I will cover Boruto with this, but anyways, I hope you enjoyed it. I never really covered Boruto, but anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Please stay safe. This was the King of Weaves, and peace.